morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our final episode of MS Weekly series, where we have just been having real life conversation about multiple sclerosis and how it affects people and caregivers, and basically finding out how we can bridge the gap between where we are and where we need to get to. So we have an awesome packed, well, I don't know, speakers list or panel, not panelists, just, we have awesome speakers here with us this morning. So I'm going to introduce, without further ado, because she doesn't have, she's giving us only like 10, 15 minutes of her time, and we cannot thank her enough. So I'm going to introduce the first speaker. Her name is Madam Moji Makanjuola. She is a Nigerian veteran health journalist and broadcaster. She's the former president of the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, and she worked for decades in the Nigerian Television Authority for years and years and years. And she's an author of a book called Health Journalism, A Journey with Moji Makanjuola. I think I need to go and get that book. Her establishments or the things that she has done are just awesome. And it's a real privilege for us to have her on here with us today. Sorry. So without further ado, I want to thank you, Auntie, for joining us. So are you on?
Yes, I'm on. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much again for joining us this morning. You have no idea what that means to us. And I know that you're extremely busy. So giving us, even if a few minutes of your time has just been a blessing to us. My co-host, Yemisi, is not feeling well today. She's been having a bit of a flare, so please send your prayers out to her. I know she's listening in, but she's not feeling well. So it's just me. We have only me today. So, Auntie, we just wanted to ask you a few questions, basically to glean from your knowledge on how you think that we, as an upcoming organization, institute, trying to create awareness for multiple sclerosis here in Nigeria, how we can move from where we are to where we need to get to in terms of putting it out there and creating awareness and letting society know that this is not a stigma, it's not a figment of our imagination, to making the government understand that we need help in terms of drugs and medication and things like that for this, initiative, for this program, because there are more people that have it than not. So can you just advise us on what you think, or which way you think we should go, basically?
Hello, ladies. First, let me just establish the fact that I'm so proud of what you're doing. And you gave me a lot of assignment. I had to quickly dust off my book to start learning about autoimmune diseases. And then I just found something there that speaks to what I'm suffering from. So I'm like, okay, everybody is vulnerable. Everybody can be affected, in one way or the other. But you see, basically what we lack in Nigeria over the years as a health correspondent is knowledge. We're ignorant of things that really we can speak to. We're ignorant of things that we can live with. We're ignorant of the things that, can create a healthier society for us. So for me, the first gap you're there feeling, and I'm so mightily proud of this, is the fact that, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Is the fact that you're speaking true to the disease. You're speaking true to power.
I'm running away from allow me this space.
Yeah, I can hear some interruption there. Maybe we need to ask.
Can you mute your mic, Sandra? Can you mute your mics, please? Sorry.
So you've asked a very broad-based question that has several answers depending on where you're operating. We're lucky because those of you here, who are suffering from, some kind of autoimmune disease are lucky because you're aware, you know, maybe you can get help, but there are millions of Nigerians out there who does not even know what this disease is all about. So where do we start? You have started to put yourselves together. And so what we need now to strategize on is how do we communicate? How do we reach people? And we need to target our reach. For each of our intervention, for each time we want to give some measure of visibility to these concern, who are our target audience? The medical practitioners themselves who do not know, because let's start from them, because the first thing you do is if you're ill or whatever, you want to go to a health facility. But how much of this do they know? So who are we going to use here? We probably will be thinking of using the platforms of a lot of these medical associations, the Nigerian Medical Association, for example, the Nurses Association, for example, the Lab Scientists Association. They're very important because at some point you probably would have to go for various tests and all that. And when we move away from that, let's look, you said something, that actually hits me each time we talk about neglected diseases such as autoimmune diseases. The price of treatment, the cost of treatment, is it affordable? Is that why people don't actually come out when they're finally diagnosed that you have this? Or is it that people just want to hide it as another disease that the devil is working with? Are we in denial as a nation? Yeah, because a lot of diseases, you just find out that people, they'll say to you that, don't worry about it. It's, it's God's way of punishing the sins of your generations or any other thing. Several myths that we have to deal with. But let's be practical because there is no time. Yes, time to start is when you have started. I always have a saying that you should have started yesterday, but you have started. So we're on a journey. What we need now is to ensure that we include on these, our passengers, those who can help to amplify this disease in such a way that people get to know about it. And people can start asking themselves, do I have symptoms associated with this? So where can I find help? A compendium of a lot of things that we need to do. But 15 minutes, 10 minutes is not enough for us. I can say to you that first I can donate my office for us to meet, to find a strategic communication way to go forward. It's not enough for me to say, okay, meet NMA, meet Nurses Association, meet the Lab Scientists Association. How do we meet them? What impact, at what level of the disease, or what exactly are they going to do for us, these platforms? Then we have the Association of Health Correspondents of Nigeria. Then we need to bring them in. Let's have a workshop, a half-a-day workshop, that we can let them know what this disease is about. You see, when you give diseases a human face, then people will begin to, understand it and begin to see, how can I help? And we need to do this because having been in the health platform for such a long time, over 3 decades, I noticed that people don't react to things unless it affects them.
Yes.
So we need to put a human face to it.
Yes.
And that's what you're doing. You are the real ambassadors. So these ambassadors, we need to give you visibility. I'm speaking from the point of view of a media person. And visibility is not just about, we start looking for opportunities where we can, where we can speak to this disease. Platforms that are happening, and I can just call in and say, well, we have somebody here to tell you about something that you probably don't know, but maybe you are living with it. I know that the social media is very popular with, particularly with your age group, with the young ones. Some people say they are they call themselves BOAC or something, born after BAC or something after social media or whatever. They give themselves all kinds of names. But I believe that you have a strong, we can do well with social media. But that's not enough. For Nigeria, Nigerians still like their television. They still listen to their radio. They still read their newspaper. So we need to also engage with people, journalists who are doing these things. And I have a network, humbly, I would say that, of these journalists that can key into what we are doing, but we need to have an interface with them so that we can amplify the concerns of which you are trying to build a bridge. On my side, I would help in the media strategic plan, and then we'll have a work plan. But let me just give a warning, ladies. I like people who are serious. It's not about jumping on TV or going on radio. I want people who actually are committed to what they're doing. Oftentimes when you try to help startups like you in doing what they fall by the wayside, or they get carried away by media visibility and they forget what actually brought them together. So I would want to like encourage you girls, and I can just see women here. Don't we have men? We need them, because diseases don't have borders. I mean, men, women, children, aged, and anybody could be a victim of this particular disease we are speaking to. So we need to engage men as well. We need to have quickly, like yesterday, have a work plan, strategic communication / media work plan, strategizing on how best we can bring this to fore. I spoke to when Erepere, is that how do I call that name right? I need to start calling it right.
Erepere.
Erepere. When she
Yes.
called me, I actually did a quick analysis. I just asked people whom I thought should know about this. Moji, I used to think that this thing, when you're talking of multiple sclerosis, and I think is a European disease.
Yes, that's what people say, a white man's disease.
Yes, it's a white man. I said, no. Then I asked my friends, okay, you do go and read it up a bit. And at least 3 of them have called me this morning to say Moji is a serious thing. And I said, so that's why we must speak to this. And let me say something. When you come on, we're not going to come on aggressively, because a lot of people with, some kind of diseases have this entitlement. They have this entitlement attitude, so they don't go far with their visibility plans. If you have an entitlement, because I'm this, then you have to do this. You won't go far. But if you come with such humility, because really, what we're out here, and I don't care about numbers. It's not so much for me. We can bring a whole town here, and at the end of 10, 15 minutes, people are gone. Oh, one of those things again. Okay. But we need to show such serious commitment. We need to be sure of our statistics. We need to be, even if we are going to be working on global statistics, we need to speak seriously to it. I was reading up, and I think I saw more than 13 or 14 kinds of autoimmune diseases that are out there. Yes, and it's possible that I don't know how many of us are here now. I mean, if you count us, maybe some of us truly is carrying one form of it without knowing. So we need to break the circle of denial. We need to break the circle of people pretending not to know, because some people know, they actually are pretending not to know. And then some people don't know at all. And that's where, the huge gap is. So, and then, we can now move on to creating awareness. Then during that creation of awareness, we can now chip in a lot of things Do you have places, health facilities where we can go, where people can identify seeing you? Because if you were in England, for example, you will run through the tests of a particular symptom that they believe you will run through, and the final journey will be that, okay, you have an autoimmune disease, and more tests were carried out. But here in this country, the first thing they want to go to the hospital, I'm sure you've experienced that, the first thing they treat you on is on malaria. So maybe,
Yes.
yeah, the first thing you is malaria. So go treat malaria. And we don't know whether the impact of some of the medications of malaria would actually trigger or aggravate a condition in autoimmune disease. So first, we need to create more awareness, and I would be more than happy to join you on this train. So yes, I know that I have so many things to do, but truly and truly, I would be very. I'm committed to helping us, all of us together, because we are all vulnerable, to ensure that we give it some measure of visibility out there. And so we would have to plan quick. How often can we talk about this? Or what platform? Are we using radio? Are we going to, are we going to be talking to health correspondents, or, visiting media houses, or visiting newsroom for them to see the seriousness?
Yes.
And we're going to and people are looking at universal health coverage now. Within that context, where is autoimmune diseases? Because cost of treatment is outrageous. It's like treating cancer.
It's outrageous.
So how many people can truly afford it? Is it part of the things that the National Health Insurance Scheme is talking about? If they're not, then we need to advocate. We also have, the legislative arm of government to speak to before we now go to the Ministry of Health. Let's even talk to the legislators. One thing that has happened on a platform where I belong is the National Cancer Society. You say we just didn't start with government. We know that government provides a lot of things, but we went to other arms of government and individuals. And today, cancer has such prominence that government had to legislate. They had to legislate for cancer. And that's where I want us to take this. Not just 5, 10 of us, and I know that we can do it. So I'm available. My office, the International Society of Media and Public Health, is available to assist. These are the kind of things that we need to do. And I'll create a platform. We must create a platform where we can, where at very short notices, we can come together and meet some of these organizations, even if it's just the president we are talking to, or even just the secretary. We'll ensure that we give it visibility, and ensuring that the Health Correspondents Society of Nigeria goes around with you all the time, that we are making either advocacy or you have a session like this. I pray that God will grant all of you good and sound health to help us navigate this. And let's pray for your other anchor that is not here. I pray that the good Lord would.
She's just joined us now.
Oh, she really?
You say hello.
Hello. Yemisi, hi. How are you feeling?
Unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yemisi, unmute yourself.
Right. I'm sorry, okay. Sorry.
It's okay. We understand.
Those days, but I'm here now.
We do. Good that you can make it. That's the spirit.
Yes.
Auntie Moji has just finished blessing us. Yemisi, I will brief you later because Auntie Moji she's got to go. We have to let her go because she told me 15 minutes and my eye has been on the clock. But it's so much good news. Good news.
That's
Thank
good.
you. I'm a clown. Thank you so much, Auntie Moji. Thank you so much. We are humbled by your advice and your encouragement and the things that you have shared with us. I can't, it's totally blown my mind. This has been our dream from day one. Yemisi and I met 5 years ago, because when I was diagnosed 10 years ago, I didn't know what it was. I thought I was going to die. And I Googled it and I found only Yemisi's name as someone who had multiple sclerosis. And we've been friends since then. And this has been our passion. It's been in our head for years, and then we finally put it down. So you have no idea what your words have meant to us. I mean, it's a light at the end of the tunnel for us. I mean, it's like medicine that costs $1,500. What you have said, almost cured us. You are amazing, and we look forward to meeting you. I'm going to call you this one, Auntie. I've given. They used to call me monitoring.
I'm available. Yes, yes, I'm available. You can reach me, and particularly since we have connected on WhatsApp, you can do that. I read my WhatsApp, all the time. I'm going to be away from Abuja for a couple of nights, but I'll be back. I think by middle of the week I'll be back. We need to start thinking of advocacy materials that we can use. You younger ones are more brilliant in creating, advocacy materials on social media. So I can post that also on all the platforms that I'm on, and start, getting people to, let's start hitting our consciousness. So I need for you to do, 30-second bursts, and here, 30 seconds, maybe on video. Maybe we have Yemisi or Chichi or Erepere, any of you can speak, on that. I can monitor that. I can produce that, for you. So that we start every week. We have something that we're showing on social media. Maybe looking through the various autoimmune diseases and speak to one per week, and speak to, maybe prevention, or how you need to get to know that you're suffering from this and what's applicable in Nigeria. And then we have this government come to our rescue, or the private sector. Most of the things that you see, particularly in the Western world, are private sector driven. One of the best hospitals that I've seen in my life for children with cancer was a donation from the Rockefeller Foundation. You go into that hospital, it's like, especially when you go to the ward where the children are terminal and all that, and you see the kind of comfort, the kind of dignity, even as death looms, that they get. You're like, okay, if somebody can do this, why can't? And we have people in Nigeria that can do it. But Nigeria, we're too, it's just about what you wear or what you see, particularly for us women, So I would please, ladies, beg of you that you must show some serious commitment, so that we can have buy-ins for people who themselves might just be victims and they don't have anybody to speak to. Might just be E and Y meeting. We can replicate E and Y's meeting all over the place so that we can hold each other's hands and encourage each other. But I would need a fallout of what we discussed today.
Most definitely.
Yes, so that we can move ahead and you can put your work plans together. Thank God for technology. We don't have to be together all the time to get things done.
Yes.
So that we look through, let's see, we're approaching June. Let's see what we can achieve and what is doable in June. And that way we can, we can move on and get it done. But I think it is doable. If HIV can get all the leverage that it gets today, fantastic. If other diseases, I don't like to talk about malaria and the rest of it, but I like to talk to, a lot of neglected diseases, like this. They just put them behind us as if they don't exist, yet they do. So if we put all this, I can assure you that when we meet again, we'll be thanking God for the grace and mercy of us.
Thank you so much, Auntie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate what you have said. We really appreciate your words of encouragement and your mission statement. Yemisi has given us mission statement, so we have to get cracking. Like seriously, like yesterday, we have work to do. So thank you
Good
so
work.
much. Thank you so much. We will get in touch, and I pray that your journey to where you're going to will be safe, and may the Lord keep you and grant you safe journey and bring you back to us in one piece.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, girls. Have a wonderful
So much, everybody. Let me say thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God,
Have an awesome day.
I have goose pimples now. I'm thinking, oh my God. Have a wonderful deliberation. God bless you all. Bye.
You too. God bless you too. God bless you.
Bye.
Wow, 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 wow. I'm so wowed. I don't even know where to go from here. It's just totally blown my mind. I'm really trying not to cry because it's really been something that we've been pushing and looking forward to. Dr. Alabi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I know that you are in training, so I'm going to just give you the floor so that you can just shine some light for us real quick, because I know that you're in training, and then we'll go to Chichi, who will take us to the end. So, Dr. Alabi, I wanted to ask you, you've heard what Auntie Moji said. You heard the need to hit. I love that phrase that she used. We need to hit consciousness. That for me struck home, because it's one thing that I've come to realize that we lack, the consciousness of neglected diseases. We're more focused on other ones. So in your experience, in your field, in your experience, how do you think, in addition to the things that Auntie Moji has told us about, what do you think that we can add? How do you think that we can push it out there? She's a neurologist. Sorry, I forgot to introduce her. She's a neurologist in River State. Yes, I think it's River State, Dr. Alabi.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and which we do need, because we lack a lot of neurologists, especially in River State, well, in Nigeria, totally. So just give us your advice real quick. Tell us what you think.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. It's a privilege to be here. And thank you very much, Madam Moji, for that wonderful talk. I would want to start by saying that in Africa and maybe less developed countries as a whole, we were faced with the double burden of disease. I'm sure we've heard that. We have on one hand, this group of diseases that are communicable, and then we have on the other hand, this group of diseases that are non-communicable. In the Western world, you usually find more, if not totally absolute, non-communicable diseases. So they're able to channel their energies more, into bringing awareness to the people. But we have this double burden of disease, and being that the communicable diseases came first, and we still have them with the emergence of the non-communicable diseases, it's been a real challenge, looking away from things like tuberculosis, looking away from other diseases that are communicable, and looking to autoimmune diseases which are not communicable. We also have the problem of finances, bad governance, and all that. So in my experience, not to belabor what we already know, the things that usually stand out when we come in contact with patients who we think may have things like autoimmune diseases, like multiple sclerosis, that are our focus, the challenges are recurring. People don't have money, they just don't have the money. And sometimes, we can sit there and say, oh, this is your life, take charge, look for the money, but they really don't have the money.
They don't.
Sorry
to cut you short, as at 2015, Avon X cost $1,500 for 1 month. That's 4 injections, $1,500. Yemisi.
I used to have to travel. At one point, I was going to the UK every month to go and get my Copaxone injections.
Mm-hmm.
It was just absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous. And it's if we can't have that intervention, like we have, some sort of what's it called? Is this what was the word that it's not palliative that government gives? What's the one to reduce the price? I don't know the word, but basically, you know what I'm talking about.
Subsidy.
Yeah,
Subsidy.
like yeah.
If we don't have some sort of subsidy, we have to go and start plucking dogoyaro from the streets to be pounding to drink. At this rate, maybe some holistic medicine will help us, because that's the only alternative. Because it's not sustainable. It's not
at all. And here we are.
Sorry, go on, Dr. Alabi. Sorry, I just get so annoyed about it. I just jump in. Sorry.
No, not at all. The anger is everywhere. And then treatment we're talking about, we've not even talked about making a diagnosis. Getting an MRI, which is very, very vital to making a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, is up there. Don't get scared asking your patients to do a brain MRI, to do a spine MRI, just so that you can make a diagnosis of what the patient has come with. So like yesterday, the government really needs to rise up to turn around the health sector, make available, or as you said, subsidize some of these things, not just treatment, starting from investigations. These investigations are very, very expensive. So people don't get past that before we are talking treatment. There's this balance when we come in contact with patients. We ask them, how far do you want to go? And that means how much money do you have? And it brings a certain joy when someone can tell you that, okay, do all you need to do. And then you put on your thinking cap and, begin to ask for what you should ask for. There is, on one hand, the fact that we need continued education on this condition and other conditions, to update our knowledge on what is going on out there. But then there's this other heavier hand where you even know what to do, but you're handicapped. You know what to ask for, but patients cannot go through with doing some of those investigations. And then we also need to have more specialist clinics. In my training, that's what I've come to realize, that in fact, my consultant was just talking to me some days ago, about establishing a memory clinic. That's for those for some of those older patients with some neurodegenerative diseases now, and memory is not the only cognitive impairment they could come down with. There are other domains of cognition that can be affected, but picking different cognitive domains is a step that is miles ahead, will really bring succor to people. So like multiple sclerosis too, it's not going to be out of this world to have specialist clinics that specialize in seeing patients. So for the general practitioner or even the general neurologist, your burden will be to at least have an index of suspicion, and then you send over to those who are specialists.
I like that, index of suspicion. I like that. I've not heard it before. I'm going to write it down. I will ask them when they say, I will ask the doctors, do you have index of suspicion? Absolutely. I can't tell you how many doctors' offices I've walked out from. Like literally, just pick up my bag and just walk out. Because it's either they want to use me as a case study, or some sort of experiment. And you know that they have no clue what they're talking about. I asked one, I said, this medication that you're giving me, I actually told him the properties of the medication. And asked him, how can you draw a comparison with the properties of this medication to my condition? How are you so sure that it will? And he was dumbfounded, because he's so used to dumping drugs on people and people taking it and not expecting that we would even know what to ask. I have some doctors who will tell me, you know what more about it than us now, so just do what is right, what you think is right. I mean, who does that?
Now, unfortunately, Dr. Alabi, I'm beginning to self-medicate. And
yes, me too.
I'm regulating my own medication. I'm going up, I'm going down, because I'm tired of going to see doctors who essentially I have to now go on at stuff from the very beginning and start explaining stuff, and they're asking me questions for their own general knowledge. And I'm thinking, do you know what? It's not necessary. It's difficult. You don't have much confidence.
Exactly. And bear in mind that this was something that we drew to the attention of the other, some doctors that we've spoken to, Yemisi and I. Bear in mind that with invisible diseases, it's not something that you see. With the symptoms like MS fatigue and all kinds of things, for us to even get up, to even get dressed, get into the car, then now head to your office, and then finally sit down, or then finally come to see the doctor. These are things that I know as doctors, they don't come to your forefront immediately because it's technical, you just have to go with the flow, you have too many patients. But the fact that we're even sitting down in front of you is we're already exhausted. It's like we've already run a marathon already. And then to now start going back and now start, it's a lot. And the mental side, or the mental effect that this has on most patients is something that I think doctors don't take into cognizance of. And that's one of the things that we're trying to bring to the purview, so that they can be looked at side by side, not as, not top down at, or just tell you this, the technicality of it, but to be a bit more humane about it, I guess, that, and not just for autoimmune illness.
That's worldwide.
Generally, it's broad. I don't know how that can be tackled. I can tell you that in my experience, I don't know if this has happened to you, Yemisi, I can tell you, I can point out just maybe 2 or 3 doctors who have felt that I actually listened to what I was saying, and who actually
what I've noticed is that neurologists, Dr. Alabi, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but neurologists generally seem to have their hands tied because they're going with their medical training.
Yes, because they're not a lot.
No, well, the thing is that MS in Nigeria is something that is only in recent times that it's something that neurologists are picking up on. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Alabi, but it seems to be more of a recent phenomenon, because we didn't have, when I did my MRI scan, there was only one MRI scanner available in the whole country, and that was in Abuja. It cost me 200,000 naira, and that was in 2004. Do you understand? And that's for diagnosis, and that's like Dr. Alabi was saying, that's just to be diagnosed. You've already spent 200,000 naira. How? Consultation is 25,000 more to see the doctor.
Mine was VMH, and they told me that there was nothing wrong with there was nothing wrong with me. See, your brain is fine. You have no issues. It's just, you are okay. Go home, more or less.
Wow.
Because it wasn't clear. The machine wasn't good. It was a substandard quality. It wasn't good.
Yeah, I had to do it again in England because they just said no, they weren't going to accept that scan.
Yeah.
Those are
I'm just sorry that I'm coming down at you like this. You were very, very
not at all. I'm aware, and I'm sure every other person on this platform is aware of the ills out there, and this is just a forum to bring them to light. I would also say that MS requires a multidisciplinary approach to its care. And I think that will address most of the problems that we are facing. You don't always have to see the doctor for an appointment. In fact, home visits should be a very, very vital part and parcel of the care of a patient with multiple sclerosis. So you don't have to come to see the doctor. The nurses should be part of the care. Physiotherapists should be part of the care. Even psychiatrists should be part of the care. It's a multidisciplinary approach. And that is one aspect of healthcare that is well established out there in the Western world that we are yet to have a grasp of here. The doctor is not king, is not God when it comes to treatment. Fine, the bulk may lie on your may be on your shoulder to make, but once a diagnosis has been made and a treatment plan and management plan written out, that should set the tone for each and every specialist to come in and contribute their own quota. So I think that is one aspect of healthcare that we really need to make a lot of noise about. The subspecialization also has been a problem, a challenge for us in the country. So most people out there, you spend so much time studying and specializing in neurology, and that is not even the end of the world. You also need to subspecialize in the neurology, just keep going down, picking smaller areas and specializing more. So a neurologist will not be able to cater to all the neurology patients in the country. So those are the problems I think we have, and I continue to talk about these things. I hope that the government can do what they need to do about.
Dr. Alabi, how many neurologists are there in Nigeria? Do you have any idea?
I don't have a number, but the last time I checked, I think we were just a little over 100. Just
for 200 million people, Abi?
Yes, the last I checked, and I've been meaning to do a more.
That's minus the ones that are retired and minus the ones that are just starting.
Yes,
so if
and a whole lot that have traveled out and
working is less than 100.
A whole lot that
my cousin is a neurologist and he's now in Oklahoma. He left loose. He's now in Oklahoma.
See, there are so many of them out there in other countries in the world. So even the 100, I cannot beat my chest and tell you I'm sure that's what.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alabi. If you start Yemisi on this one, we will not leave here today. If you start Yemisi on this one right now, this particular journey, she will take them to the.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Let me see. So, now, Chichi, thank you so much for listening, for joining us. Now, first of all, thank you so much, Dr. Alabi. I really appreciate your honesty, and and not beating around the bush and not trying to protect, and just telling us exactly what it is, so that we know what we're working with, and we know that when we're coming out there, we know exactly what we are up against. So thank you so much for your advice and your words of wisdom. We will definitely be looking for you sometime in the future. So please don't run away and don't block our numbers. So now I'm going to introduce Chichi. Chichi Ikpeama is the executive director of Merseed Media. It's a media company. I found this very intriguing. It's a media company that specializes in the production of development communication using behavioral change. You have to tell us what that means. Using behavioral change communication methods. So she does that through video and media to create social messages. So I found it very nerdy, for lack of a better word. I'm trying to think of very creative. So not nerdy, they're just creative. That's what I'm trying to say, not nerdy. Creative is the word I was looking for. My apologies. So please, Chichi, the floor is yours. So basically, you heard everything that we've spoken about, a little bit of our background, our history, you know what we're facing. You've heard what Auntie Moji said, you've heard what Dr. Alabi said. So my question to you is, how do you think we can bridge this gap? Not just meeting the older generation, making it cut across board. How can we get because let me tell you something. Last Saturday, I met a lady, one of my platforms. I had to go and look for her. She's 24 years old. She was diagnosed in June. When I went to meet her, she was totally paralyzed on her left side. Totally. 24. Life hasn't even started. She has people in this age group who don't have a clue what she's talking about. They don't know what she means. So we need to find a way to keep the consciousness of these of of them as well, the younger ones, for lack of a better word. I don't consider myself, but to hit from the old. So how do you think we can go from where we are to where we need to go to, where we need to get to?
Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to be here. Yemisi called me. That was on Thursday night, I think. I was like, oh, after all, she's been actually forwarding your content to me, though I've not had time to connect with you even for once. So, so yes, if you're talking about development, communication, that's my passion, that's my area. But I would like to start very well. I knew the first time I heard about MS was actually from Yemisi. We worked together in an NGO that does development communication too, and we were like, what is that? Because it actually took her a long time to find out what the problem was. Like you said earlier, when she went to doctor, they would tell her nothing is wrong with you. You are okay. You are imagining things. You are this and you are that. Until, she went to UK and she was diagnosed. And that was the first time I ever heard about it. And she didn't know this. I remember going on YouTube and Google, and I was like, what is MS? I was actually reading up on it to be able to understand what was wrong with her. And that was where I even learned a little I know about the MS. Now, coming down to the area, being specific to where you want us to go on development communication. Can you hear me? I can't hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. So it's a communication that is designed with a intentionally designed for a purpose. It goes with hand in hand with research. We don't just go to our offices and sit down and design content for that particular communication. You have to do an extensive research involving stakeholders, because we are just media people. I'm a filmmaker. That's my major area. I'm a radio drama specialist. But we work with the people that are in that particular area. So I was quite happy when I saw the people that you are profiling, the doctor, and I was very, very happy with Dr. Moji, because she has actually touched on most of the things I would have recommended for us to do. So you work with stakeholders, you bring in policymakers, because even after producing the content, it has to go with a campaign. You have to run a campaign, otherwise you just produce a content that will sit down in the shelf. So you do a campaign around the content that you had, the theme or whatever it is that you want to create awareness on. So based on that, we come with either the proactive stage of it and the reactive stage of it. And I'm happy that you are coming with both stage. You have been through it, you have seen what it is, you are going through it currently, and then you would now want to create awareness and general. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I said we are going through it. We are still going through it.
Yemisi is my friend. We've been friends for more than 10 years now. So it's like I've been following her and how she's been managing it, and she's a hero. She's actually been managing it very well. You hardly know.
17 years.
She's an amazing woman. I always tell her that she's an amazing. I don't. So in terms
she was there
of
at the very beginning.
hello.
No, I said 17 years, Chichi.
Yes, I knew you.
And you've been there from the very
healthy.
beginning.
So, wow. Exactly.
Okay.
My internet.
Seems like her internet is throwing her out.
It's a bit crappy here.
I think her internet is throwing her out.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
It's coming and going. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Hello? Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yes.
Seems like she's having internet issues. So yeah, okay. So basically, can you hear
Hello?
us? Chichi, can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so you have 3 more minutes.
No, you can't come to mine and then shut it because we have a lot to talk about. So
I was
anyway, for
waiting
me,
for her
let's
to tell me
exactly
that.
because I'm not getting it right. I'm actually just getting into the whole thing. I told you
Keep going.
development
I was waiting
communication
for you
is
to
my
tell me that,
passion.
Chichi. Keep going, keep going. I like that. Keep going, keep going, keep
Oh
going.
God.
We can
You
hear
can hear
you.
us. We
Okay.
can hear
All
you.
right. For me, okay. For me, I think we should start. Thank God for Dr. Moji, who have actually set the ball rolling. So with her help, we should start with the ones that we can, because I won't lie to you, media is very expensive, both the production and the distribution. So we'll actually start with the ones that maybe we know that we can use little or no resources to achieve, which is basically very, that means it's limiting us. Thank God, Yemisi, it has this, she's already used to media, Facebook productions, doing her mini videos for everything. That's one way. But from experience, unless we need to target the audience, because there's no one campaign that is good for everyone. We need to find out who are the people we want to talk to, where are they based? That will give us an idea, the kind of media, the channel that we are going to use to communicate. And then we need to find out what is the objective, what is your objective, what do you want to achieve? Is it just to create awareness, to stop the stigmatization, to help people to understand you people better, and even the doctors, the medical practitioners, is it for them to understand? Like I felt quite bad when you said each time you go to hospital, you have to start afresh to educate a doctor that is supposed to be the one giving you solution, to what is wrong with you. That's, I felt heartbroken, because I could I identify with that when you go for somebody for a solution and they have no clue what you are talking about. So that's the thing. This campaign, who are we targeting? Is it the government, the policymakers? Is it the healthcare practitioners? Is it the general public? There's no one content that speaks to everybody. So when we identify the audiences that we want to reach, then that will help us in identifying the media that we want them, the medium that we are going to use to reach them. Like we're saying about Facebook, social media. Yes, social media is quite popular, but I always ask people, to who? We are 200 million, have the youth in the interior, in our rural areas, have access to that? So these are the questions we need to ask. Okay, if our audience are just the people in the city, the ones that are very good with Facebook, they can move around it. Which one do we want to use? Facebook? Is it LinkedIn? Which one actually do we want to use? We know that now Facebook is very accessible to, not Facebook, even YouTube, and YouTube is a very friendly medium for short content. And that's another suggestion I will give. Whatever content that we are producing has to be short, because the attention span of the average person is very short. Besides, there are so many other things competing for our session. So we need to design the content in such a way that at a glance, you already pass your message. Even if there's any other thing that is coming behind, let it be the less important ones.
Yes.
So these are the basics that I can take up ahead to advise on now. You understand?
We actually started on.
But bear it in mind that.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me? Chichi, can you hear?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so
you were talking about the radio.
We actually started. We actually have the Facebook platform where we actually have the, you know, a Facebook page and an Instagram page where we share, and then we post what we have done here on YouTube. So we started that process, which was, so I was very happy that you said that. So at least that's a tick for us. I like it when we're doing something right, and then like a more experienced person says, this is what you should do. Like, yeah, click, we've already started that. So yes, we already started that. So that's very, very, thank you for that. Thank you. So at least we know we're on the right track. But what you said for me, there was something that you know about identifying who we need to talk to. I think Moji also mentioned it, and it struck me that unfortunately we just don't have one age group in this journey, you know. So we can't. So we're just going to. It's going to be a bit broad for us. When you were saying, I was thinking at the top of my head. This is because number one, there are a lot of people that don't know that they have it. I can tell you that for free. There are a lot of people that have been misdiagnosed. So getting the target audience is going to take a lot of, you know, thinking through to know it, so that we don't miss any out. So when you said that, it hit me. Wow, it's
one thing I would like to mention is, even if you have diverse audiences, I mean, you shouldn't design just one content for everyone. Let there be specific content according to the audience, because that's the only way they can relate, they can resonate with the content that you are bringing out. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say you have some of your audience are in the North, you know. The North, if you really want to reach the average Northerner, whether they are elites or they are ordinary Northerners, is radio. You've got to use radio to get them, because those people, they can stay on radio 24 hours like that. So that's what I mean. Even if you have multiple audiences, have multiple messages that will target each.
Multiple audiences.
That's it.
Multiple audiences.
And you know what?
Did you have any?
Yes, you know, there are quite a few people in the North with MS. Because when I first started when this whole thing first started, there were 3 women in the North, and I've lost contact with them now, who all had MS, and they were diagnosed in Dubai or in Egypt, Europe, which is where we would go, you know. So there's quite a number of them with MS up there. And you're right, Chichi, when you said who the target audience, policymakers, is it government, is it health workers, I was just thinking to myself, damn, there's messages for each and every single one of them.
Yes,
of course,
yes, there's different messages. Yes.
There's messages for each and every one of them. Because we want to communicate actually to each and every one of them. But I think in the first instance, we want to start off with the general awareness, creating people who don't know they have it, that might have it, you know, people to look at time.
And you know, yes, because even for those of us who have it, taking I mean, finding out whether it's hereditary, things like that. Those are investigations that we need to find a way to carry out. How are we going to prevent our children from having?
I know 2 people who had parents with MS. And my doctor in the UK,
in the South here.
No, I know a Middle Eastern guy from Kuwait whose mother had MS. I know of somebody else whose mother had MS. And my doctor was very, very firm with the fact that all my children should be on vitamin D.
Yes. Yes. So I've got 2 sisters. I said this last time. I have 2 sisters who have fibromyalgia. It's another autoimmune illness. So we're a family of 6. Wow. 3 of us have autoimmune illnesses. And my elder sister has lived with it for well over 20 years. I mean, when she was diagnosed, when she first presented, like you said, everyone thought it was a figment of my imagination. You know, and I can't even begin to imagine how lonely she must have felt. at that point in time, knowing that really and truly there was something wrong, but she couldn't express it. So there's also that side of trying to pretend to be normal, I guess, so that you are not looked at as, what is wrong with you now? I said this last time, so I can't imagine. So when I think about my own family and that have, on this journey, I can't even begin to imagine someone stuck with this alone and not having anyone to be able to talk to, or not having the platform to be able.
Can you repeat your? Okay.
I said, knowing that what my family and I have had to go through, my sisters and I, that have gone through this journey, knowing what it was. I mean, by the time I now started presenting, I already had someone who I could speak to, right? Who understood my language, what I was trying to say.
My internet is getting really crazy now.
Okay, but so imagine, someone who is alone, has no one to fight for them, has no one to speak for them, and has no way of communicating this illness.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to imagine. It breaks my heart trying to imagine what that person will be going through. I mean, but I guess, in all things we give thanks, and like we are, I think it's time for us to round up now. So we are really, really grateful for the opportunities that we've been given to fight as far as we fought. We are truly, truly grateful for the platforms that we've had to be able to express ourselves. And we are grateful for those who have listened, and those who are listening, and for those who are yet to listen. So we thank God for all of them.
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, we so what we're trying, so at the end, so we're out of time. We need to round up now. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been part of this journey. Sorry, Chichi, did you want to say something? Was you trying to say something, MC? It glitched on my end.
I was trying to say something that's why this your initiative is very good is Dr. Moji mentioned that earlier too. In this part of the world where every sickness, every death has to be spiritual, it doesn't come natural. People, I'm sure there are much more people that are suffering from this same MS, but they actually think they've gone to hospital, and as usual, doctors say they will tell them they don't have issue. They will now conclude it's spiritual.
Of course.
So that's what I'm even excited about, because with this campaign, they will know that no, they have some medical issue that even the doctor themselves doesn't know.
Exactly.
And it's not a spiritual thing. Because I believe that part of healing is when you can actually identify what exactly is wrong with you. That's when the healing starts, not when you don't have no clue what the problem was, and then you are just,
Chichi, let's not see this conversation. This one,
you know exactly where to start. You are halfway.
That's the next meeting. The next one, spiritual aspects of disease. People thinking that it's
let's not go there.
About that, yes.
That one is a very deep one. You can't tell you how many prayer altars we have gone to. They pray for us that they shot us arrow from the village. Anyway, thank you so much. These 4 weeks have been phenomenal. They have been exciting, full of knowledge, full of a lot of words of wisdom, eye-opening revelations for not just us, but all our speakers. And as I said, I can't thank you enough for your words of encouragement, for your direction. It was very, very specific, very, very direct, exactly what we need to do, which is what we need, action plans, which is what we needed you to help us with. You have exceeded our expectations. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for your help and for joining us on this journey. So we say thank you, we say bye. hopefully we will be doing maybe once a month, we would re-strategize. We will post on all our various platforms what our next step of awareness is, and we'll keep everyone posted. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chichi. Thank you so much, Yemisi. Thank you so much, Dr. Alabi. Thank you, Auntie Moji. Thank you, Auntie Kiki, Inkiru. Thank you, Chimdalu. Thank you, Jide. Thank you, Dr. Gerald, everyone, and I can't remember, everyone, or Dr. Belema, all the way down to the first series. Thank you so much for all your help. Goodbye, and God bless. Love you all. Thank you. Bye.